Hello, vinyl community, and anyone else watching this. I hope everyone out there is doing magnificently. Tonight I wanted to do a video on a guy that I have always loved, and I don't think he gets the kudos he deserves from anybody. Or a few people. And I know a couple people in the VC that actually admire him. He's a guy that I think should definitely be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He discovered Elvis Costello. He produced Elvis Costello's first 4 albums. He produced the first Reckless Eric album. He was a chief founder, if not the founder, of Stiff Records. And he, a lot of people don't know this, produced the very first Pretenders single. And of course I am talking about Nick Lowe. A couple of people I know, Chris over at Dixieland Farms and Steve, Flipside CT, are Nick Lowe fans, but I don't know too many others. I know there are some more of you out there, and I appreciate you. And what I'd like to do, I just want to show his collection and talk a little bit about Nick. Might be slightly loud. So I'm just going to show my albums by Nick Lowe, not my 45s, and just talk a little bit about him and go through his whole career. And it's been a long one, since the late 60s. He's still going, still out there touring. So here we go, my Nick Lowe collection. And I'm not a completist. A lot of people know this about my Beatle collection, my Paul collection. I'm not a completist, but here's what I have. Brimsley Schwartz, the Silver Pistol album. This is the first band he was in, along with Ian Gom, Brimsley Schwartz, Billy Rankin, Bob Andrews, and that's about it. There's the back cover. And Brimsley Schwartz, if you don't know, was pub rock, but with a very country edge. Sort of almost Grant Parker meets the Flying Burrito Brothers. Anyway. Nervous on the Road. I actually don't know which one of these comes first. They're both from 1972. And they're both very similar records. And the last Brimsley Schwartz I own is 15 Thoughts of the Brimsley Schwartz. This is sort of a greatest hits. This has his original version of What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding. A lot of people don't know that Nick Lowe wrote that song. So it was a great song called, The Ugly Things that Elvis Costello covered. And what's the other one that I really, really love on here? There's A Cloud in My Heart, which I think is their last single, originally released as the Brimsleys. And also Dave Edmunds produced What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding, and that's probably where Nick Lowe met Dave Edmunds. There's the back cover. And they were more of a pub rock, almost heading towards new wave band by the end, which I kind of like better. This is a British import. It's on United Artists. Then we get to Nick Lowe's first LP. Jesus of Cool in the UK. And I don't have an American copy, as I sent along to Chris at Dixieland Farms. But in England, it was called Jesus of Cool. Pure Pop for Now People, it was called in the American album. This is the in America. This is the 2-record set Yep Rock reissue. One record is the original British LP, and one is a whole lot of singles and things released around the time of Pure Pop for Now People. One record is yellow and one record is red vinyl, 180 gram, and they did a really nice job on this. And once a year, Yep Rock has a sale. They'll offer like 50 to 100 albums for $10 each. This is usually one of them, and I highly recommend it. Double record set on colored vinyl, 180 grams for $10. That's where I got mine. I definitely recommend this record. This is one of his best. Although I'm such a fan that for me it's hard to pick Nick's best album. Here's his second solo, Labor of Lust. Two different track listings for the British and the American. This again is a Yep Rock reissue on 180 grams, no colored vinyl this time. So what Yep Rock did to, it's also the album playing behind us, the British version is playing behind us. But what Yep Rock did to come up with the problem to fix it is they put the songs from both albums onto this album. So it's got a couple extra songs on it. Of course, Cruel to Be Kind is from this record. And the interesting thing about Cruel to Be Kind is it was a top 20 hit almost everywhere. But it peaked in America at number 12. The odd thing is, it peaked in Britain at number 12. It peaked in Australia at number 12. It peaked in Japan at number 12. And it peaked in Germany at number 12. Just the weirdest thing. Anyway, Nick Lowe's Labor of Lust. Great album. Between those two are probably his best. And they both, well, the first one has a little bit of Dave Edmunds on them. The second one is a Rockpile album with Dave Edmunds, Billy Bremner, and Terry Williams on drums. And then after that, there is the Rockpile album. Again, this is a Yep Rock reissue. I have about 6 copies of this record. It's one of my favorite albums. Nick Lowe, Dave Edmunds, Terry Williams, Billy Bremner, there they are. Not a bad cut on this album. Produced by Dave Edmunds. Comes with a single. The original came with a single as well. 4 covers by the Everly Brothers. This has Teacher Teacher on it, and You Ain't Nothing But Fine. Now and Always, Wrong Again. Just a fantastic record. Nick and Dave parted ways after this. And Nick came out with Nick the Knife, which sounds like demos compared to the Rockpile album. But I still really like it. Mine is a promo copy. And this has a great song about, well, he wrote for Dave Edmunds called Stick It Where the Sun Don't Shine. One of my favorites. My Heart Hurts is on here. Burning is on here. Really good album. Just not produced the way that Rockpile was. And that can be a good thing. After this came The Abominable Snowman, which has Raging Eyes, another one of my favorites. Just a really good album. I love the covers too. He did some really cool covers. And Nick Lowe and his cowboy outfit came next. He's turning more into the Nick Lowe that we all know now on this one. And this one has half a boy and half a man, which is definitely one of my all-time favorite Nick Lowe songs. Paul Carrack, by the way, joined his band for this one. And here's a single, LAFS, from it. Along with, there's the set list. Baby It's You, a duet with Elvis Costello covering the old Shirelles tune. And I don't know if you can see the cover, probably not, but a really cool drawing of Nick there. Now we get The Rose of England, his last LP for Columbia Records in the States. And it says I Knew the Bride, his version of I Knew the Bride When She Used to Rock and Roll, and The Rose of England. Both fantastic tracks. And Paul Carrack is still with him. After that, he sort of almost decided to retire. He ended his tenure with both Riviera Records in England and Columbia in the States. He may have been let go. I'm not sure. Actually, he didn't. There's one left. Pardon me for that. But first came a couple of greatest hits around this time. I don't know exactly. 16 All-Time Lows, a British album. These are both really British albums. This one's on Demon. And then we get Nick's Back, another greatest hits, also on Demon Records. And he may have ended his tenure with them in with Riviera at this point. Then he did do one more record for Columbia. One of the best album titles ever in the world. I don't care what anybody says. Pinker and Prouder Than Previous. How can you go wrong with an album title like that? Fantastic album title. Not his best album, but it does have a couple of really good songs on it. After that, he did one album for Reprise. I got a promo here. In 1990, and this is kind of scarce in America on vinyl as it was released in 1990. Party of One. And Dave Edmunds actually produced this. Him and Dave reunited for a couple of times. A little later, well, around this time he worked on a Dave Edmunds album as well, on Closer to the Flame. And this has All Men Are Liars on it, and I Don't Know Why I Keep You On, which is again one of my favorite Nick Lowe songs of all time. After this, he got together with a couple of guys, including John Hyatt, Ry Cooder, Jim Keltner, Ry Cooder, John Hyatt, Jim Keltner, and Nick Lowe, and formed Little Village. Then they did one album, and it's a really good, mellow album. Finally out on vinyl, on Music on Vinyl Records, and really good album. They all did good stuff on this, and really solid, mellowish. Nick is starting to do what he'd been wanting to do for a while, and that was just make music sort of as slow as you can make it. And he was about to retire at this point. He was done. He said it wasn't fun anymore. Record companies were pushing him to make more Cruel to Be Kind, and he didn't want to do that. And Elvis Costello said, "You're freaking Nick Lowe, man. Go make the records you want to make." So Nick Lowe hooked up with Rounder Records, and they said, "Go make the records you want to make." So Nick Lowe made this, The Impossible Bird, and I saw him on this tour. And he was actually formed a band called The Impossible Birds, and they were actually with him on the tour. A bunch of guys that looked kind of like Nick, all the same age, and this was a fantastic show, and I was so happy I saw it. I didn't even notice Nick's picture there. It shows up really good on camera. Just a really good album, doing the kind of stuff he wants to do, including The Beast in Me, which he wrote for Johnny Cash, and Johnny Cash did on his first American music LP. Great. A True Love Travels on a Gravel Road, the Elvis song. Soulful Wind is great. Where's My Everything? Shelly My Love. 12-Step Program, which I think Bonnie Raitt covered. Good album. But in my opinion, not as good as this one. Of his later albums, for me, this is the one to get. If you want to check out Nick Lowe being quiet like he is right now in the background, check this album out. Dig My Mood. And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to get into his head. And where his head was really, really cool. He does a cover of the old country classic, Cold Gray Light of Dawn, which is just fantastic. But most of these, Freezing is a fantastic sort of Christmas song along the lines of Baby It's Cold Outside, Lonesome Reverie, You Inspire Me. The Man That I've Become is kind of like, hey you kids, get out of my yard. It's really good. When I was married, 1 year for Christmas, I got my father-in-law this CD, and he loved it. So, Dig My Mood, his best of the later albums, in my opinion. Then we get The Convincer. Not nearly as strong, in my opinion. Homewrecker is good. She's Got Soul is good. Indian Queens is good. He covers Poor Side of Town, but he's added little horns, and this is really, really slow. Has She Got a Friend is really good too. But this album is so slow. But I love the cover. He's just so, oh, look at me, I'm an old, there we go. Anyway. Anyway, this is okay. Not my favorite though, by quite a ways. And then his latest normal album is a little better. That Old Magic. There's some rockers on here. I think this is his wife, but I'm not sure. He did get married. He is happy now, as you can tell by the back cover. And there's songs about this on here, like what's the one? I'm looking. Somebody Cares for Me. He wrote a song. He just can't believe that somebody cares for an old rock like him. But really cool. And this album is on Yup Rock, and all those last couple were all released on Yup Rock, reissued on 45, and cut on 45. This one, because it's a short album, mastered at 45. Sounds fantastic. He also released a single from around this time on Yup Rock, and a 10-inch. Nick Lowe and his band, Go Away Hound Dog, back with I've Changed My Wild Mind. This is a 10-inch, and the interesting thing about this is it is a 78. This spins at 78. If you want to hear it otherwise, you got to get the 45. But the 10-inch is a 78 on Yup Rock, and I find that really, really cool. His latest album, 2013, which also spins at 45, is Quality Street. It's a Christmas album, and it's interesting. Not my favorite Christmas album in the world. He does an interesting cover of I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day by Roy Wood, and Christmas at the Airport was the single, and that's pretty good. And the rest of it's kind of okay. And there she is again. I just love the cover and the name, Quality Street. You'd never, besides the Santa suit, you wouldn't really guess it's a Christmas album. So, pretty cool record. And my neck got over, hang on. I'm just going to start it again, you won't mind. And last but not least, because there's only one to go, Low Country, the songs of Nick Lowe. A bunch of people got together and cut some of their favorite Nick Lowe songs. And there are other ones of these. This is the latest. This has not that many people that most people had heard of. Maybe even nobody. Ron Sexsmith is on here doing Where's My Everything. There's the track listing if you can see that. Low Country, the songs of Nick Lowe. There you go, there's my vinyl 12-inch and 10-inch Nick Lowe collection. I just think the guy deserves some respect. A bunch of years ago when Elvis Costello got elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the one thing he said is that Nick Lowe should be either standing there with him or in his place. And I kind of agree with that. He's an important man, along with a bunch of other people. I might do more of these videos, just the people that I think ought to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that aren't. But Nick Lowe is certainly almost my top. So, there you go with that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out my podcast, snapcracklepop.podomatic.com. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you listen to some Nick Lowe. And I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching and listening and subscribing. And hello to all my new subscribers. Bye.